when we were mixing into the stage, we were only mixing in the big speakers. We weren't mixing in the small speakers, which you're supposed to mix in the small speakers. We mixed in the big speakers because we were just concentrating on our bass. And that was the wrong thing to do. So, into the stage is like our first step. So, it was what's the word I'm looking for? We locked in our head like, yo, we have to make the Shauna sound different because the Shauna has to show progression. You know what I'm saying? It has to show progression. It can't be as muddy as Into the Stage. It has to be more brighter, and we have to show progression. And that's why the Shauna sounds like that. That's why when people mention like their favorite album Into the Stage, I kind of cringe.
Wow.
I know Into the Stage is great. I cringe, but to me, The Shining is a better record, and it sounds better. And to me, it's like I have more of a love for The Shining than I do for Into the Stage.
Okay. I'm about to ask you the question that I'm sure every producer, everybody in music always hate to hear, right. But I have to ask it because you just said what you said. What is your favorite album that you've done? I know, again, I understand it's like having kids. You can't have a favorite kid. But which kid are you closest to? You know, being a parent, you got one kid that you're close to.
I'm going to tell you it's The Shining. And here's the reason why. So we fast forward to maybe 2010, maybe 2011. My son is in high school. So he takes a music class. So the teacher goes, okay, listen, I want to introduce you guys to music, like, and what I want to do is I want to play some compositions for you to show you how great music is. So the first composition was a Beethoven piece. And then the next competition was like Living in the City or Superstition from Stevie Wonder. And the third composition was The Shining.
Oh.
So my son starts laughing. He said, why are you laughing? Like, the teacher said, why are you laughing? Like, why is this so funny to you? He said, my father and my uncle produced this record. The teacher lost his mind. Oh my God, are you serious? I said, yes. He said, yeah, my father and my uncle, they produced the whole album. And he was like, oh my God, I have to meet your dad. I have to meet your dad. When I came to school, he was, the guy lost it. He lost it. So for my son to get that has propelled The Shining all the way to the top.
I mean, that's a great favorite. Yeah. So,
and it was. I had a good time making it. I mean, we didn't exactly see eye to eye through the whole project, but it was still fun to make the record. And me and Tech, we were bound not to see eye to eye. We're both Gemini. I'm June 2nd, June 3rd. So I knew we wasn't going to see eye to eye. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it was still I had a great time recording it and mixing it.
And the funny thing is, Tech is scheduled next week.
Say what?
Tech is scheduled on the show next week.
Oh wow! Get out of here!
Yeah.
Yeah. So we butt heads a lot, but like I said, the end result was a great record.
Most definitely, man. I mean, that's when you guys start moving towards the Midwest, and then and of course that's when hip hop started taking over the world as well.
Right,
and it was super dope that again, I hate to label it this way, but I'm forced to. It was when our music was still prevalent and not the jiggy and the saucy music, and it was like, yeah, we're doing it. I remember going to clubs and thinking, we are really doing this. We're taking over the world. And at this point, man, you guys got y'all fingers in Bahamadia, well, metaphorically speaking. Mike Geronimo, Bahamadia,
Right.
and another one of my favorite joints, Nocturnal. Talk to me about those projects.
The Bahamadia joint, I loved working at the, we had fun in the studio with her and her manager Chelsea. It was a great time. And of course Mike was my guy. I had fun recording those records. Nocturnal was a little bumpy because Rock and Rock didn't want us to do they didn't want to fully produce Beatminerz record. And they were very vocal about that from the beginning. And at the time we were having our issues. Yeah, they were very vocal with that, which is cool. That's what they wanted. You know what I'm saying? But
right.
and we wasn't feeling the same vibe with them as we were feeling with Check and Steal and of course with Buck. So I was cool with it. But also at the time we were having our issues with Boot Camp, and so we parted ways for a little bit from them, around that time. Like we still did our songs for Nocturnal, and we still did our songs for The Storm, but we were doing our own thing, and they were doing their own thing.
That's bananas, man. You would never know that. This is a question I have for you. That is right around the time, like that 96, like 92, 96, from 92 to 96 is when I think we lost control of hip hop.
Right.
I think part of the reason is, even though he's one of my favorite MCs, I'm going to blame Nas, and I'm not blaming Nas, but Nas put that damn Illmatic out, and he had LES, he had P-Rock, he had Lodge, he had Tip, and Primo on it. And I think when people heard that, they stopped saying, no, me and the Beatminerz are going to go in the studio, or me and DITC are going to go in the studio, and we're going to create a vibe. And I think people start making hits instead of music. Talk to me about the lack of continuity in the studio, and do you agree with me that kind of blew it up for our Get Down?
Well, I mean, it kind of set it off, right?
Right.
Set it off, but what is the greatest album of the 90s? Illmatic.
Yeah.
Illmatic is the greatest album of the 90s. So the end result was a great end result. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I'm not blaming Nas. I'm talking about the rest, because, okay, you got some of the greatest producers ever, and you got one of the greatest MCs ever, so inevitably, in my opinion, that's what happens. But when Joe Blow, the up-and-coming MC, tries to duplicate Nas and that crew, you're not going to get that. I think it's better suited when you sit, I'm just going to use you guys as the blueprint. I mean, the reason we love Enter the Stage, the reason we love The Shining, and the reason, one of my reasons of loving Nocturnal is because you guys had continuity.
Right.
If I'm not,
but you know what, though?
Okay.
Not to cut you, but you know what? With Illmatic, he had all these other producers on there, but he had Lodge steering the ship. So Lodge was a vital part of that. So of course you got the Premiers and you got the Chips and you got the Peeps, but Lodge was the last say so.
Right.
Like Lodge was the one that said, okay, let's do this, do that, do this, do that. So that still kept the continuity to in the record. So if you have that, you know what I'm saying? Like take an album like Blueprint.
Mm-hmm.
That album is all Reasonable Doubt. That album is the way it is because Dame Dash is the one who said, boom, 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 this is what you need to rhyme on.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And stuff like that. That's why, I love Jay and the whole time, but you're not going to get a dope album from Jay no more because Jay was not there. The last dope album that Jay gave us was Black Album. Jay was there.
you know, I agree 95%, but the 5% I disagree is because I really like this 444 for the very same reasons you're saying.
Right, 444 was a cool record. It was cool, but it wasn't touching Black Album. And
oh no way.
It wasn't even on that level. But 444 was a good album. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even know if I put that up there. Like,
oh no. No. What I'm saying is,
it showed maturity.
And no. What I'm saying is that vibe is there. That vibe that, right, like you said, Large did,
right,
and then that vibe that Dame did, and the vibe that, right, you guys had on Into the Stage and The Shining, that was there. Right. You could feel it. It's like we're connected.
Right.
And that's what I think the culture is missing, to be perfectly honest with you. Everybody keep trying to kill the culture. Hip hop is dead, yada, yada, yada. I'm not trying to get no words from that. None of that. But
hip hop will never die.
Ever.
We will always have the people who love hip hop. They'll always be around, and they'll always want to make. There's always going to be somebody that wants to make a hip hop record. You know, but they're putting their twist on there. Like, J. Cole wants to make a hip hop record.
Right.
So he's putting his twist on that. Kendrick wants to make a hip hop record, so he's putting his twist on it. You know what I'm saying? Like, regardless of how you look at it, it's hip hop. My son always tries to put me up on new stuff, you know, and I give it a fair shake before I shoot it down. You know what I'm saying? Like, but if I hear a little effort in what you're doing, I give you props on that. Like, the baby makes music for his generation. But if you pay attention to him, he has a little flow to him, and he's actually rhyming. He's actually, like, putting bars. Like, I'm not going to say bars, because that's like a simple thing to say, but he's actually making sense, and he's actually got a vibe with it. You see what I'm saying? So
exactly.
You can't be mad at people like that. Like, so he's a person that I'm talking about who still will make an effort to make a hip hop record. You know what I'm saying? So there's still some people out here like that.
And the ASAP crew, they do the same thing.
I love Rocky and I love Ferg, even though I deserve that Ferg is not in the crew no more. But to me, Ferg was the best one. Ferg was the best one.
While we on this page, MCs that you haven't worked with that you think you'll be good with. You got a list, or you working on something, or talk to
well, Redman. I'm dying to make this Redman record. I always come so close and it never happens.
Wow, Redman, but you guys would be insane.
I always get close and it never happens.
One of my favorite MCs is Sean Price. Was Sean Price, rest in peace. How was it working with him?
Well, when we were doing Nocturnal, like I said, we was having our issues, but it's still, he's one of the best guys to be around. So even when we was having our little bullshit here and there, it was still fun to be with him. So as we got older, we started doing the boot camp records, and Sean would be on the records, and he's a very picky guy, right? So when you give him a beat and he turns that beat down, and you're trying to figure out like why is he so like this beat was dope, why would he turn it down? But then you hear the shit that he's rhyming on, you go, you know what, I'm not even mad at that. Like, he knows how to fix it, especially for him. You know what I'm saying? So I was never mad at. He's very picky. I was never mad at the fact that he turned the beat down, because I heard when he fixed the stand, and I wasn't mad at that.
Well, another one of my favorite albums, man, is when what is it? After Chemistry. Is that it?
After the Chemistry.
Yeah. Talk to me about that album. That album was insane.
Yo, I'm gonna be real. I don't know if I should be saying it, but I don't remember anything off that album.
Wow.